Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we have a very fun project on hand. We are going to install the fountain here at the Signature Garden at the nursery. Before we go any further though, I have to say fall is arriving. The wind is blowing, it is cool, it is dry, it is glorious. So if you hear the wind on my microphone, I'm not even gonna apologize for it because it is cool, dry air and we are so excited that it is arriving. We are of course here last week in September. Fun things are happening, so we're going to take you along for the ride today as we install the fountain in the Signature Garden. It is going to be the centerpiece of the garden, and therefore we want to go ahead and get it in, get it installed. We're not going to turn it on, we're not going to get it as far as like working with running water. We have power to it, but we just want to get the structure in place and set up. That way we can work around it because it is a boogeroo and it is going to be a big heavy fountain. So we're going to get it in first before we start forming all the beds around it. I'm standing here in the glorious shade and you will see Andrew and Jerry out working in the Signature Garden. So basically the pad that you see is going to be the quote formal side of the Signature Garden. This is going to be the very blocked off sections with flower beds, but we will have the Signature Garden will also include flower beds on the perimeter. So along the creek, I am standing right here at the pond. We will have gardens around the pond. It's just going to be kind of an ongoing process up here in the woods. We have wonderful, beautiful plans to take full advantage of our environment and all of the beautiful things that the Lord has provided us with. So they'll be up there in the woods. We will have gardens down here in this lovely grove of trees. So we will have gardens everywhere. They will develop from year to year as most gardens do. Our main focus right now for the grand opening this spring is this section right here. So the fellas are double triple checking that the fountain is dead center of this space, because if it's not dead center, you will be able to see it easily. We do have the four corners set. We also have Miss B and Megan. The nursery is open, so Miss B is being a good girl and being on her leash. But we have the four corners set. You can probably see that there is a rebar post with string attached to it, and those are on all four corners. Like I said, the fountain is going to be dead center. So basically, if you can see where that nice tall post is, that is the absolute dead center of the gardens, and that is where the fountain is going to go. It is 5 feet, the basin is 5 feet in diameter and goes, you can see they roughly sprayed it just for right now because we're going to build this area up. We want that fountain to be slightly raised so that it makes a nice, even bigger statement. The fountain she's a beauty, and I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. So we're going to raise this up a little bit, and then we will have a flower bed immediately surrounding in a circle around the basin of the fountain, and then of course the walkways and everything around here. So let's go see that fountain and I'll show you exactly what we're going to be installing today. Here we are over at the Pines, and you will see that the fountain, which is in a bunch of little pieces, big pieces, is over here. So I'm going to show it to you. This is from Unique Stone. I know that's a big shocker. Do adore our friends from Unique Stone and all of their beautiful products. What you're seeing is the base. This is the 3-tier Royale fountain. We already have the 2-tier, and we went with the 3-tier. This is the largest fountain that Unique Stone makes. We ordered this well over a year ago. I am glad we did, because unfortunately, if you love this fountain, first of all, you do not love this fountain. You do not want this fountain in your yard. It's a terrible fountain to have in your yard because they have discontinued some of their larger fountains. So unfortunately, unless you can find a supplier that already has this in stock, more than likely you're not gonna be able to get it from Unique Stone. So I'm super glad that we ordered this extra early, not knowing that it was going to be discontinued. But we do have it because I knew exactly that I wanted this fountain because it was the largest one that they make. And in this space, I need something big that makes a huge presence and is very striking. So this 3-tier certainly does it. This is in the ancient age finish. So we literally left it on the pallet right here. This was either 2 deliveries. I think it was 2 deliveries ago from Unique Stone that we got this. So what you're looking at is, this is the basin, right? I believe they call this the Whispering Pool basin. This is what is 5 feet across. So in diameter, from end to end is 5 feet. Obviously huge and heavy and massive, and so we were like, there's no point in taking it apart, so we literally just left it right here. Yes, you will still see that there are some burlap bags in there. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun when we unpack it. And then there are the levels within it, so they've packed it and we just left it alone. Then back here in the back, you will see the remaining pieces. So you've got level number 2 right here, level number 3. So those are the 3 levels of the pools. Then you've got the pieces here, right? You've got different ones right here that will be the separators between the different levels. And then finally you have the top little finial, which is a pineapple, so the water will actually be shooting out of the top right here and whispering over. Then this little guy is the block that fills in the hole. It's your access to the pump. Again, today what our goal is not to get this set up and running, because yes, we have the electrical line there, but we don't have it fully functional yet as far as like power's not running to it. We don't have a water source over there. We are simply, when we talk about put the bones in your garden, we're putting the bones in the garden today and getting this fountain set up. So fingers crossed, good Lord willing, everything goes according to plan. At the end of the day, we will have the fountain set up and we will be able to see it in its space. What the fellows are doing right now, we've got Jerry in the excavator, Andrew is in the Bobcat, and so Jerry is filling up Andrew's bucket with some extra soil, so that way we can build that little pad up, raise the fountain up some. So that is what we're going to do. So that's going to be one of the more labor intensive jobs right now, is to get that pad built and raised up and nice and compacted, because this fountain is heavy, and then you add water into it, it's going to be even heavier. So we need a nice solid foundation. So that's what we're going to be working on first. Quite a bit of time has passed, but we have gotten the basin of the fountain in place and it's level. So there we go. So of course you saw us pulling in some native soil back from the back 40, as we shall say. Brought that in, tamped it down, got a nice level pad, nice and firm in there, and then brought over the basin of the fountain. Yeah, pulling out that burlap bags was pretty raunchy. We had a great ant colony growing in there, and we got all unscathed rather, I should say. And then poor Andrew got he got bit on the arm. And so the basin is in, and now we got it nice and level. And of course there at the end we forgot we had to put the pump in because we have to run the cord, the electrical cord, underneath it. So we had to lift it back up, run the cord through, and now Jerry and Andrew are looking at putting that in there and getting this, yeah, nice and sealed in there. So there we go. Does that work? We'll find out, huh? All right, so the pump goes there. This is why I told them, I was like, I'm just gonna give it to you and y'all can figure it out. So it's in there, and now we're gonna start assembling everything. When you buy a fountain from Unique Stone, you can get the pump and all of the tubing, so that just runs up straight through the top of the fountain, and basically at this point it's just kind of a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and it goes in. You might notice that we had a little bit of damage on the fountain when we were moving it and installing it. And get out of the boys' ways. Probably should not be filming, probably should be helping right now, but oh well, they got this. All right, so you'll see that we had a little bit of damage right there on the base of the fountain, and really it wasn't, it just kind of flaked off right there. But the good thing is that Unique Stone provides us with little vials of the different stains. So we will go back through and touch that up and you'll never know. Plus, I would rather, of course, if it's going to happen, to be right there, because once we add in the soil, of course there's going to be plants around it, you're not going to see it, and then when you stain it, it'll look just like a beautiful, nice weathered fountain. So there we go. We've got the next level in. So what we're going to do at this point, yep, so we've got the base, that in, and then this bowl, oh my gosh, it's a doozy. It is heady. So we're going to figure out the best way to lift that on there, but at every stage, right, you're measuring like this. Andrew is making sure that that is actually dead in the center, because the last thing you want to do is assemble this fountain and then you're like, oh gosh, it's not quite centered. So that's what we're doing. It's a very tedious process, and getting it put in. Cece and Megan are cheering us on over there. But getting it just right, tedious, slow and steady. This is not something that you rush through, because you want it level, you want it even, because it will show up. Water does not lie as far as whether or not it is level. So we're going to take our time getting it set up. So we're just going to set the camera up, and y'all can watch us work as we get this fountain put in. But already looking nice. So it's nice to have a structure here, and then of course to work around it. Great. Love it. All right. I'll talk with you in just a second. All right, my friends, are you ready for the grand reveal? The fountain is in place. She is stacked and she is ready to go, but oh, looks so good. All right, you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Ta-da! So from this angle, yes, it looks really nice, right? And I did take, might see some glistening. I took the hose because I had to. I took the hose and washed it off. Great thing about the fountains, of course, like any fountain, you've got to be able to drain it. So we have all of the plugs open right now, so I could rinse it out, and I think you can see that little white hole, that little PVC, so that way it can drain. It's nice and clean. We'll have to work on the bottom a little bit because there's still some pine needles and things in there. But yeah, nice and stacked. Cannot wait to, oh. Britta says, thanks Mom, you just got me a big water bowl. That's great. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I wanna take you down here and share with you how it looks from this point. So I'm gonna keep the camera that way so you can't really see it as we walk down through the shrub lot, that you're gonna see the grand scheme of it all. Now, the shrubs, right, we have, don't think it's off-centered. Don't let the shrubs fool you, all right? So anyway, here we go. So this will be, we're going to put pavers down here, and then dead center is the fountain right there in front of you. So as you walk down through the shrub lot on the paver path, and we go down, oh, and she just went into the creek. And so we come this way. Here we go. Sorry for that little interruption. We had a unexpected puppy visitor that Brenna wanted to say hello to. So this will be a nice paved path through here. Right where Brenna jumped through, you will see that there is a ditch. This is where there is a French drain actually under this whole section right here. So that French drain will actually drain various parts of the signature garden. We will have decorative stone like river rock through here. Obviously, we're not going to have you walk through the river rock, so we will have a footbridge that connects from the pavers over the river rock and then into the signature garden. Of course, these are the 2 elevated raised beds, berm, whatever you want to call them, that will have probably, Jerry threw a little monkey wrench at me and said maybe do something different, but I say stick with the sprinter boxwoods, the little lime punch hydrangeas, and then there will be annuals planted at the base of each side of the elevated garden. This will be it's either 6 or 7, I can't remember, 6 or 7 foot path that will be grass, and then comes straight in. That path will go straight to the fountain. Then we'll have plantings around the fountain, and then the path will continue straight back out the other side. To the left and to the right, there's going to be a total of 8 formed beds that will be in here. They're going to be very symmetrical, very linear as far as the shape of the flower beds, but the plantings, of course, will be just the Creekside signature style. But man, look at that. Isn't that fun? I know the water's not running, but honestly right now I don't need the water running. It just makes me happy to have something in this space. So what we're going to do as far as the next steps, what will happen is this entire bed, right, this entire pad right here that has within the 4 corners of the those stakes will get a nice thick layer of our compost blend. We'll put that down. At that point, then we will run string lines so we know exactly where all of the beds are, because we're going to run irrigation. So each flower bed will have a little like pop-up that we can connect all of the drip tubing to. So each bed will have its own little access point to the irrigation system, and then of course irrigation for the grass, because all of the paths right now are going to be grass paths. So that will happen, and then once the irrigation, those little pop-ups are in, then we can start forming beds and actually start planting. So excited about this, but it's just yet another step into the direction of getting this signature garden up and ready. We hopefully will start planting, gosh, we should be able to start planting within the next couple of weeks, weather and the good Lord permitting, with the trees, the perennials, the shrubs, and then of course the big debut will be this spring with the grand opening of the signature garden. So if you're coming to the nursery, we would love to have you. You can see everything really from the shrub lot. You can check it out. It is a construction zone over here, so there's rebar sticking up, there's some holes everywhere. So just maybe study it from afar, because right now there's not a whole lot to look at other than this gorgeous new fountain that is installed. So my friends, I hope you have had fun today, enjoyed this. I know it has been, feels great to have this done, and we so are excited about this whole thing. I can't even talk yet. Okay, we love you. Thank you so much for all your support and encouragement for this fun adventure that we call Creekside Nursery. We appreciate you. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.